Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we are going to discuss about the scope of a variable. Okay, so let me put some break over here. As I mentioned, we do have two different types of scope for a variable. The first one is local and the second one is global. From the naming itself we could understand what is local and what is global. Okay, local belongs to the method and global belongs to all methods. Let's let's see that in a real example, then it will be really interesting to see and it is easy to understand as well. Let me create a variable called a is equal to 100 and I'm going to create a function 1. Define function 1. Inside the function I'm printing value of a. Done. And I'm creating another method function 2. Here I do have another local variable I do have a local variable here a is equal to 50 and I'm printing a here. That is wrong. Only up to this is fine. So we have two methods, function 1 and function 2. Function 1 it's just print a, but in the local method I don't have any local variable called a. And if function 2 I do have a local variable here which is 50 and I'm printing the a here. Okay, let's run this. I'm going to call the first method function 1. What is the value? 100. So I call this method and it is returning 100. I don't see any local variable here which belongs to a, but how it is getting the data? Because this a is equal to 100, it is globally accessible to all the methods within the same script. But when I execute the function 2, let's see what happened. Function 2 50. Why it is printing 50 here? Because it has a local variable called a and it has 50. So the local variable it always gets the first priority. If there is no such variable is available in local method, it will look for the global level. Okay, the first lookup always inside the method, and if there is no such variable inside the method, it will try to look up the same variable into the global level. So the first method will look up the data from the global level and it will pick the data. At the function 2, it will pick up the data from the, I mean to say the data in the sense it's a variable from its local. So it's getting the high priority, so it's printing 50. Let's create a new script. So it will be easy. Okay, let's save it. Python scope of variables. Let me create a function 1. Function 1, and before that global I have a variable called a and it holds 100 and I'm printing a here and I'm creating another method called function function 2, and it has a local variable again 50, and I'm printing a, again I'm printing a. So printing a here. Okay, let's run this, but before that I need to call the methods function 1 and function 2. Function 2. Let me run this. Invalid syntax. My mistake. The signature is method signature is missing. Let's run this. Why nothing got printed? Okay. Is equal to 100 function. If you enter it, I want function 1 and function 2 is equal to 10. Run. Okay. See the outcome 100 and 50 and 100. The first method call is function 1, which will return the global variable because it doesn't have any local variable which called a. So there is no such variable inside the function 1. So it will look up the global level and it picked a. When it comes to the second function, it has a local variable which has the high visibility. It will pick this and it will print in the second method. And the final outcome, I'm printing the value of a. This belongs to the global level, so it will print this data. Okay. The only reason why we are keeping global variables, you cannot modify those. So when you're using the global variable, you can use the variable in any number of methods, but you cannot override the value. But we do have option to override the global variable. Let's do it in the second method. I'm going to indicate the second method global a. That's it. So that means when the function 2 is entered here, this a, the global keyword, it indicates I'm going to override a global variable in this method. That variable name is a. So when you make a call a is equal to 50 here, the global variable itself, it will change. Let me run this and we'll see what happened. Have you seen the difference in the outcome? The first time the function 1 is called, so it's printed a. Second time again it's calling the a, but in this scenario it printed the local variable. Okay, what is happening is it is simply overriding the global variable inside the second method. So once it is modified, whenever you try to call the a, you will get the 50. That is the reason the first time you are getting 100, that means before overriding the global variable. Second time you are printing 50, which is the local copy of function 2, and as part of the same function 2 you override the global variable. So the next time when you refer the global variable, it becomes the updated value. See the difference. This is the reason one and this is the previous run. First time 100 and it's a local variable 50, and again the global variable is 100. The second time the global variable is 100 and it printed the local variable 50 and it is override the global variable a. So again when I try to print the global variable, it gets the updated value. Okay, so can you do that here? You can do that, but and another thing is when you are using global a here, you cannot simply do like this. It will not work. You'll end up with a syntax issue. Okay, this is a signature for that. So here I'm trying something different. Again, I'm going to override the global variable here. I'm going to modify to 75. Okay, before running this particular program, let's assume or let's validate the outcome. Okay, when it entered the first function one, it will mention it is going to override the global variable. So the 100 becomes 75 here, and then it's printing the local variable, the local copy of A75. Okay, once the function 1 is over, the A value is updated to 75, and then it will go into the function 2. Again, it is trying to override the global A. Now the global A is 75. 75 becomes 50 here. Okay, and we are printing the value. Again, it's taking the local copy of this overridden value and it will print it. So first function 1 will return 75, which is overridden, and second one is again overridden 50, and the third, the global variable, the final state, which has 50 as a updated value. Okay, let's check it out. See, the same thing happen. The first time 75, 100 becomes 75, and again I overridden to 50. So function 1 has overridden to 75 from 100 to 50, and second method 75 to 50, and when I'm trying to print the global variable, it gives us the latest updated value, which is nothing but 50. Okay, so these are the important things about the functions in Python. And not only that, we do have some other important methodologies here, something like packing, unpacking. Those things are a little complicated, and as a beginner, it's a bit complex to understand. But anyway, in the next video, what we are going to discuss about is the class. What is a class and what is an object, and how we are going to get class, and how we are going to return a method inside a class, and how we are going to access it, and we are trying to achieve some OOPS concept like inheritance, method overriding, and other stuffs. Thank you.